All right, so what I did is I took the action that I liked, which was the Polaroid action, which was like cross-processing, took it down to 34%, but at normal at 34%, it still really colors my background a lot still. And I like this clean, bright background from what I had underneath, which is a combination of another action. So one way I can just bring the colors through is using the soft light blending type. And you'll see the difference it makes. It kind of brings all those golds and greens back into my object without affecting very strongly the colors around it. So there's lots of ways you can blend these in. This is a much more extreme. This is just for the shadows. And this action's already flattened. So it won't allow me to flatten the image, but I just take it, Command A to select all, Command C to copy, Command V to paste it on, and then I can decide how much I want it. I do like how that kind of deadens the space a little bit. It takes the warmth off. I could also try a different blending mode, but I think that just makes it a little too harsh. So I'm going to use normal. I could try other options too, like pin light or overlay. Those are going to be pretty severe, even just at 35%. Or just normal, and just make it really subtle until I'm happy with it. And I can close this, don't need it anymore. And then this is going to be really dramatic, but I probably don't need it very much. This one is already flattened. It just depends on what action it is. Select all, copy, paste. Huge difference there, but I can blend it in and maybe I want a little bit of that. So how can you tell? Well, let me look at my favorite detail. You know, this area here, everything that's in focus. If I have it at 100%, it looks like that. Very rough. And that's too much. But if it's at 0, now that all looks kind of soft to me. So what I really want is maybe about right there. And maybe I think that's my most effective shot. So this was after I finished my PSD. I have a TIFF where I went through all these different little steps, starting with my PSD, refining it, cleaning it up, making strong creative decisions about how I want it to communicate. And now when I go back through it, I think I'm relying too much on that last step. I'm going to take that back down. Yeah, I think that's about what I want. So we're always making decisions about how we want our photos to communicate. And we don't want to get distracted by something like a color we like or a texture we like. We want to think about what are we trying to do with this project. And you want to make sure that each of these is actually making an improvement that you agree with. So this one, I'm not sure I need those greens quite so much. So I think that blue filter kind of does it for me. Let me see. Yeah, I guess I want them, but maybe a little less. Okay, so then when I'm happy with it, just completely happy with it, I save my TIFF as it is, because TIFFs can support multiple layers. And I call it an LZW. And for this project, and for any project we do from now on that uses post-processing, we use our TIFF to then save as a JPEG to put up to the class photo bucket. And I'm going to save that to the desktop. And I just want my file size to be less than 5 megabytes. Right? and then I'll submit that as my final project. But I'm not done, because we need to submit 3 things for this project. So one is the final JPEG, which I'll mark with orange. And then the other folders we need one is our sketches. So I might mark that with gray. I'm going to upload that as well. Put that on the desktop. And then one is our raw exposure, the exposure we used. And this is that exposure. And it's come a long way just in processing. But what I have not done is I have not changed the composition at all. I have not cropped it. And I'm going to put that on the desktop. And I might mark that with another color as well. Be a yellow. Now, if you don't have your original exposure from your memory card, you can always open up your PSD file. And if you're making duplicates, like I suggested, you just go to your original exposure. But what a difference just in the PSD file. And then what a difference again to our finished TIFF. Okay, now I have those files. I'll put them in the order I want you to submit them. Sketches, raw exposure, finished exposure. Up to the class photo bucket. Into photo assignments, assignment 4, right here. Click upload. And you can drag them in. I like doing it that way with this upload button once you're in the right folder, because then it forces you, or gives you the opportunity, reminds you to title them before anything else. So this will be Carl 1, this will be Carl 2, and this will be Carl 3. Strange. Oh, we're going to always order them by title, and so then they'll show up in the right order. So the steps that we've gone through, and this is very common for any kind of commercial art or any kind of fine art photography where you have a vision of what you want. You play with different compositional takes. You shoot lots, but then you take your best exposure and you work with it until you're happy. All right.